4 months from now, we're going to have a meeting at the Pompano Beach Library in Collier City. So that's going to be on a Saturday. So we're talking about moving from Wednesday nights to Saturdays. It's a little bit easier for a lot of folks to get away during the day. We don't have issues with having to leave early at night. And you'll hear more information about this in the next few weeks or the next few months as we get closer to the time. So starting in September, we've still got here May, June, July, and the August super auction here. Okay, going on to the next slide. So coming up, what's coming up? Before we talk about tonight, Chuck's going to introduce our speaker for tonight. But in May, we've got kind of a fun thing. For those of you who don't know JJ is going to present to us how to build a landscape-escaped aquarium. JJ also is renowned for winning first or second place at Aquarama in New Jersey. Yeah, that one. Aquatic Experience in New Jersey. They won first or second prize from the nation as far as building and displaying aquariums. So what JJ is going to do is he has gotten us an aquarium from where, Craig?
From Fluval.
Fluval Aquarium.
It's a fancy 15-gallon rimless. It goes for something like $200 retail.
So he's got a very fancy aquarium. He's got beautiful rocks, landscape, and plants, and he's going to set that up for us. And at the end of the meeting next month, we're going to auction off that aquarium. That's coming up in May. If you go to the next slide, Raphael. In June, we've got Bill Shields. For those of you who don't know Bill Shields, he's an expert in our field. He's going to talk about fish farming. And it's really interesting because around the whole country, there's not a lot of fish farms. The ones that are here in Florida. So he's going to come in and give us a talk, and we'll get a lot of information about how they raise fish locally for us. And that's in our June meeting. So May and June are good meetings coming up.
All right. Let me say this here. Chris Briggs is our speaker tonight. He comes from Canada. I first saw Chris at the ACA conventions. I really didn't think much about him, frankly. And then we went to Washington, D.C., to the Cichlid Convention in Washington, D.C., and I saw a man named Wayne Leibel. He's a legend in the cichlid world, an absolute legend. And then I saw a man standing next to him with Wayne Leibel's face tattooed on his thigh. I said, you know what? I think I like this guy. I think he's just crazy enough to be one of the crowd. And since then, of course, he's grown in national popularity. So tonight, with Chris Briggs' talk, we're very lucky to have this talk because normally this talk is given only at conventions, not club meetings. So this is going to be entertaining, it's going to be fun, it's going to be informative, all right? And Ken, keep your remarks to the end of the program, all right?
Alrighty.
Thank you, brother. All right, well, without any further ado, let's bring up Chris Briggs. Can you have a hand?
That's usually Austin's job. Thanks, guys. Everybody that's seen me before generally knows me for a t-shirt I made about 25 years ago that I used to wear at conventions. It's a t-shirt that I could wear to a baptism, I could wear it to church, I could go to the bank, I could go to anywhere I wanted. And I just said the words, Mighty God a Podium on it. Nobody would have a problem with it, but at a fish convention, you became really, really popular. I finally retired that shirt about a year ago. And the reason I retired it about a year ago is I've been working on a YouTube thing like you guys have. Rachel O'Leary has been my tutor, and I've got Joey King of DIY has been working with me. Because if I'm going to launch something, it has to be launched at the top level right away. And it's been redubbed the Mad Aquarist, which is the title of my talk. This is the tour poster that was made. We have the Dead Fish Order up in Canada. For those who know Spencer Jack's a dear friend of mine. He's a tropical fish wholesaler up in Canada, and we travel together all the time. we formed an organization called the Dead Fish Order, and I'll talk about it a little bit further, but our artist for the Dead Fish Order, that's his whole job, is just to create the tour posters for any of the guests that we bring in to speak. So that's the one for the Mad Aquarius too. You can see the old Mighty God Podium shirt still there. I'm very happy the accommodations that, like often when I travel, I'm often put up in members' homes that I've never met before, but I was very thankful. Me and Austin were able to stay in a nice hotel. I landed on Saturday, of course, because I'm traveling international. There's always delays and problems and stuff. And we had planned for an 8 a.m. dive with the manatees. Now, I know, drink it in. Just look at this, right? I'm 6'4", I'm Manitoba, Canadian, and we live in the prairies. If you know where North Dakota is, if you can just close your eyes and picture North Dakota in all its picturesque form, that's Manitoba. There's nothing, it's bleak as hell, but you don't take someone like me and just plunge them into the ocean. It doesn't happen. And in October, I'm gonna be in South Africa, and one of the things the group has organized is great white shark cage diving. You don't take somebody from the prairies and throw them in a shark cage, especially when the first video I find online is of the shark going over and above and into the cage. So I thought, I need to kind of get myself out there and see some other large animals in the water. So we did this, and that was a super cool experience. And we're doing the collecting. I did a little video, will be coming up today, that Cobalt is one of my sponsors. I'm also on the ZooMed, ACA ZooMed Speakers Program, which used to be the Marine Land Speaker Program. I used to be on that. But you guys had Rusty Wessel here last month. Rusty is also on that organization, and he brought Cobalt products and ZooMed products, so I didn't want to go and double dip for you at all. I'd send you a black mark on you. But the Cobalt Rescue Air Pump's a brand new product they just released, and for you guys that go out and collect, this thing's awesome. The old battery-operated air pumps, the day they took the big D-cell batteries, this thing's a USB. It comes with a portable battery that you can even charge your phone, charge anything you want with. It comes with all the cables, and the charge will last 24 hours. It's awesome. For $40 to have one of these in your car for when you're going collecting, it's worth it. Now, you guys keep it hot down here. It's like Africa hot today. I got back from collecting today, and I just didn't feel right. And I told Austin, I said, I think I got a bit of sunstroke. He says, oh, you're fine, you're fine. Out in the parking lot, I took a picture of the back of my head. Apparently it's like scarlet. So I've been a little tired, so hopefully everything's good. Game of Thrones is coming up. They come and visit us regularly. Winter's always coming in our place. Now, this is the thing of note here. People think of Canada, they think snow everywhere. Yeah, that's kind of true. But where I live, it's far too cold to snow. That's kind of a concept most people can't understand, but minus 55 degrees Celsius, and I know you guys are on a different scale than mine, but once you get into the minus 55 range, it doesn't really matter. It's just damn cold, right? This is the end of my road. I live 30 minutes outside of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. This is my street. It's a gravel road, and this wonderful road here is the Trans-Canada Highway. Highway number 1, it goes coast to coast. It's the biggest highway in Canada. And I come off my road and I take the Trans-Canada Highway for half an hour and I drive my kids to school every day. So this was literally taken about 2 months ago when I was taking my kids to school. I said, I need a picture of that for content. That's awesome. So my kid's waiting for the bus. Now, to give you an idea how strong Canadians are sometimes, this is, you guys have your White House and everything. In Manitoba, each of the provinces has their own parliament buildings, and then there's the big fancy one in Ottawa where the guy that brought pot to Canada. But in Manitoba, there's the Queen statue, there's our legislative buildings. But to give you an idea how strong we are, we have a 14-foot tall, 24-karat gold gilded nude man with his genitals facing due north. So we can take on the winter any day. We do keep fish, albeit we keep them a little bit differently, but we do have teams that can help us get the fish out at any time should we need them. The picture of me as a child with my old Metaframe tank and everything like that. Who said, aw? Look what happened. Think my mom goes, aw now? Now we go into the descent into madness, and here's where we're at now. Like I built a big tank. Now this tank, that's my wife and kids. This is several years ago. This is Zoe. She's now 18. This is Riley. She just turned 12 on the 3rd. This is Isabel. And then Paisley's not even in here yet, but that's my wife Dana. And that's a 750 gallon plywood aquarium, and it was 21 years old before we took the chainsaw to it when we moved out to the country. And my whole basement's been developed around the space for the new tank, which will probably start this fall because apparently we had another child. There's Paisley, she's now 2.5. There's my daughter Riley, playing with some of the fish. Now, I told you before, my mind works a lot differently than average aquarists. I've never been an aquarist that has kept fish that I just think are pretty. I've never kept, display tanks and stuff like that. I've done planted tanks, I've done rainbow breeding, I've done cories. I did a little bit of live bears, but I think they're stupid, so they're bait for the real fish. I did cories and plecos and all sorts of stuff. But I did 13 years of Tanganyikan cichlids before it was cool, when you'd import Tanganyikan cichlids as trophius and you had to figure out what you got. But I spent about 16 years of my life studying a small bony structure in the back of the throats of cichlids. And that's what it looks like, and then here it is if it's laid flat. And it's called the pharyngeal dental plate. And the pharyngeal dental plate it's a modern fish's trait, and it's a dental plate that has different structures on it that give the modern fish, the ability to eat or to process or catch its food, and then the dental plate processes the food. So if you were to give me a dental plate from any cichlid whatsoever, I'd be able to tell you all its dietary needs by simply looking at the tooth forms. So let's look at some examples. Eretmotus sinostictus from Tanganyika, the little clown goby. Here's what the dental plate looks like. It's a little tiny thing. That fish there, the dental plate, is going to be smaller than your pinky nail. But it's the thing that processes the food by the jaw structure moving up and processing the food on the top of the palate. So it enables the fish to be able to take their food source and swim away while eating. That's the chewing gum and talking thing. Cichlids can do it. Live bears can't. That's why they're stupid. And then this one here, Tilapia buttacophyri, which I found out when I showed the slide in Tampa. Tilapia are illegal for you guys now. Can't imagine why, because you keep your fish so well contained. But there's the dental plate on a Tilapia buttacophyri. Now, judging the difference, these are lots of little thin comb-like structures. What does it eat?
Algae.
Correct. Yeah, it's an algae grazer, so it has to process. It doesn't just necessarily just the algae, but the combs also then filter out all the micronutrients and the little invertebrates and the zooplanktons and stuff like that. So thereby it's getting its protein source. But the jaw, not just the jaw structure, a true vegetarian fish like this, or trophius or something, their intestinal tract is about 10 times the length of the body of the fish. Versus an intermediate species that something is more of opportunistic or a predator, it's only on average about 3 times. So when people talk about things like bloat and stuff like that, it's because they're feeding it far too much protein. We had the opportunity to go and visit with Dan Sharifi up near Tampa, and he feeds his entire collection koi food because the fat content is extremely low and the protein content is very, very low. And these fish are able to process this food quickly. And with his way he keeps his fish with the water movement all the time, it makes it very, very efficient for him. And that's a good, very good, sound way of keeping fish and understanding fish nutrition. The best fish keeping I've ever done in my life is when I'm not home. If I'm gone for a week and I come home and my wife feeds my fish once while I'm away, they are going to be the absolute best. If I'm judging a national cichlid convention, I'm one of the 7 main judges for the American Cichlid Association, and somebody enters an Mbuna African cichlid and it's chubby and it's got a round belly, you're going to lose points. That fish should have a sunken belly because it has to spend so much energy to be able to process, to be able to get very, very low caloric intake out of it. Any idea what this fish would eat? Just based on the teeth. The large conical molliform dentition. It's a snail eater. So that large, very almost molar-like teeth is designed for crushing prey sources. So they will take in full snails, crush them. Because the primary teeth at the front of the jaw are meant just for grabbing their prey and pulling it into their buccal cavity, into their mouth. And that'll be used for processing. So I also went into a dark phase where I kept killies for a while. I call it the dark phase because how many killie keepers are in the room? Hardcore killie keeper, that's all you keep? Yeah, it's so sad. I've met so many hardcore killie keepers, and you go, hey, come to my fish room. And we walk down the hall past the bathroom, past the bedroom, and they open the linen closet, and there's 40 tanks in the linen closet. Just embarrassing. So emasculating. But I kept all the different killies. I didn't do a lot of the top spawning killies. I enjoy the dirty ones, the mud spawners, like the Fungula panchax and the Nothelbranchius and stuff like that. those are the killies that fascinated me, because you could buy these two fish at an auction and just breed them. Just all you have to do is harvest the mud and dry it, put it in the bag, write the date and time and the number, the name and the location, all that stuff. I just forget about that bag of mud for 3 months, 6 months, whatever that species incubation time is. And then when the time comes and you got a few minutes, you take that bag and you put it in water, and then the next day you get fry. That's cool. And they'll eat brine shrimp, most of the species, right away. That's awesome. That's exciting. Stingrays. What could be bad, right? What could possibly go wrong? And I'm very against, I'm not going to stand on a soapbox. I don't think red-tailed cats, iridescent sharks, I don't think a lot of those fish should be available in the trade generally. Should they be made available if somebody can really prove that they can house it? But as well, everybody's a person in this room, even if you've ever kept them, there's very few people that will actually go to those lengths of saying, hey wife, can I build a pond in the basement? That ain't gonna happen, right? It's just generally not gonna happen. So, and those people don't understand how big these things actually get. You just look at the ordinary Mataro stingray, the common one that everybody sees in the pet stores. Well, it depends on what region it came from. And Mataro is available almost all of northern South America. So if you get a Mataro from Colombia, they'll get about 30, 32 inches in size. You get a Mataro from Uruguay, it's gonna get up to 6 feet for a female. Good luck, But nobody thinks about that. They see on their pet store, they're super cute, and I always see the people feeding them. Until you get stung. Once you get stung once, you ain't gonna be here putting your hand in the thing, feeding them the same way. But in my tank, I ended up with 4, and all 4 of my stingrays were rescues from a pet store that had a touch tank and the water level was here. This isn't the average person that just bought their first fish tank in this room. I doubt it, right? Even the new people that are here, they came here for a purpose. They want to feed that addiction. And then this is what happens. You just start having, this is a guy's office. I can go to Matt's house. This picture's about 5 years old. I bet you those 2 nets are in that same spot. His family room. Rachel O'Leary's fish room. It's chaos all the time. When she was shipping fish all the time and doing stuff, Well, this is just, it's a different angle of it. I go to Rachel's all the time. I've stayed at Rachel's like 9 or 10 times now. But this is a working fish room. This is what we do. Doesn't matter where it is. But one summer, I had a big fish room at my parents' house when I was younger. And one summer, I don't know how many people in the room are Central American cichlid keepers, but that was my passion at the time. And one summer for BAP, I did 27 species of Central American cichlid. And when you're a kid, each one of those I could sell for $12. Every single fish, right? So you start doing the economics thing. I'm going to need some space because I'm going to raise every single dove I fry. I took over my parents' entire basement with tubs. I had Rubbermaid tubs and totes and stuff, and the whole basement was percolating. I probably made $38. Charlie Grimes, his fish room, when Petco closed one of the stores around him, he went and picked up all these purple trim tanks. This whole fish room's got this top row of these purple tanks. It's so funny to me. But this is why we do it. We want to have that nice spot. I don't care if you have a fish room or you have one tank in your living room that you're proud of. And it doesn't matter if it's 100 gallons or if it's 5 gallons. Maybe it's a beta bowl on your kitchen table. You do it because you enjoy it. There's a passion there. And who in this room wouldn't want to sit in that chair and just be left alone with a coffee or a drink and sit back and just drink it all in? Now, the 750 in its last days before we moved was all Central American cichlid. It was a big giant tank full of wood and rocks and big giant fish that could disappear. So like my big Lago Isabel, Paten, Bacortai, it was about 17, 18 inches in size. And I did tuba. One of the fish that I'm apparently most famous for is apparently nobody in the world could breed tuba before. Like, didn't breed any different than all the other ones. So I can ask all of them, how'd you do it? I added water. And they have the coolest fry. They're like little bumblebees. So this is a female tuba in breeding dress, and she's Gardner fry and stuff. And I had one of my favorites was what we used to call the old Quetzal cichlid. It's in Spidle. These were all big cows. They were one of my favorite ones. I had the big catfish too, and there's kind of an idea of what the big tank looked like. There's one of those rescue stingrays. I made the mistake of adding 2 boys into the tank. Because I rescued them. I didn't like, I can't take a boy. And I put 4 boys, 2 boys and 2 girls in the same tank. It's a 750 gallon tank. It's 8 feet by 4 feet by 3 feet tall. I thought, what's going to happen? As soon as the boys became sexually mature and the thing dropped, they were relentless. You like the real stingray breeders, if you talk to anybody, and I've read them, but if you talk to anybody that breeds them commercially, the males are never kept with the females. They're always kept separately. But you guys heard of, you have a national convention bid going in for the ALA. These things, if you've never attended, I'm gonna go right on the soapbox with the other guy. These things are amazing. Big conventions bring in so many other people and so many other fish. The selection at these things is crazy. Are you guys gonna have selling out of the room at your convention? Is that something that happens? There'll be pet stores set up in their hotel room. It's crazy. There's always esteemed speakers, there's auctions, there's people selling fish out of their room. This is why they never ever do them twice in a hotel, because people put buckets of water in tanks and slop water on every flat surface in the room every single day, and then they just leave. They think it's okay to just put that do not disturb sign on the door so the maid never comes in and doesn't see the atrocities until you leave. Then there's the babes auction at an ACA. There's the three babes, Pam Chin, Pamela Marsh, and Carolyn Estes. These three ladies are single-handedly raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for cichlid research. They do it all for cichlid research. And those three ladies do it all. They don't allow other people to help. This place is so big. You saw that driftwood pile that I showed you? They get that size shipment in every week. And they don't ship anywhere. They deliver within their kind of area by truck. And they get that much driftwood moving up weekly. This is not even, we wandered around in his warehouse. We had 2 full days. I never saw every tank. And every tank was packed. And they sell everything. Again, they don't ship anywhere. It's all local. That's just insane how much aquatics, how big it is over there. And the quality level is so high. Everything now to me is focused on driving, is to making sure that you guys, when you go home tonight, appreciate what you have. I don't care if you keep guppies, you keep cories, you keep planted tanks, or you don't. It doesn't matter. Whatever you like, do it. Enjoy it. We only have one turn, and that's the only turn we get. So this is my youngest daughter, Riley. This is a few months ago before I started gutting all those tanks and taking all. This was when I was in my killie phase. And I get her involved all the time. And she asks me to go downstairs and feed the fish. Automatically, that's what we're doing. I want to see that in my kids. And I applaud you guys. I know that might be a tough issue for some people in this room. I applaud you that you guys are switching to a Saturday. Without going to a weekend, it is almost doomed for failure. Without going to a weekend and getting kids out at meetings at nights, it's almost impossible. Going to a weekend is, in my opinion, especially in Canada, it's the only way you can do it. But I want that reaction when a kid sees a fish. I want them to be excitement. So I'll leave you with that. I can't imagine any of you guys are ever going to talk to me again, but I do have a Facebook page. If you want to just type in Briggs, Chris Briggs, you'll find me. I can add you on my personal page, and then I'll migrate you to the Facebook page. And then the YouTube channel will be launching probably within a month or so. But we have tons and tons of content. Mine is not just fish. It's all about different natural aspects, plants, botany, fish, reptiles, all sorts of stuff. The things that just make my mind look at things a little bit different. I can't imagine anybody has any questions. Yeah? Thank you, guys. Thank you, sir.
I can't wait till you get, I don't have Facebook, but
Yeah.
you get your YouTube.
It's almost ready to go.
Right. On the board, they said 4 years.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, I got to come back to the Tampa area probably sometime in the winter. And Chuck said, as soon as you know that, let me know.
How's it going? Talking about weight level.
See, I am flat like your foot. Like when I leave and I come to take my kids.
This skeleton.
I could bring drive.
Fresh fillets.
It's so bad. Like I've done that right.
Or you got back on there, all little baby.
You do it on the side?
Those all little babies.
That's the same one you just showed me.
Yeah, these are fish on his face. These are his.
Yes. Walking bumblebee.
And then when
They get bigger?
That's the adult form.
Yeah, but in here you see all those.
Yeah, it's the big. That's
That's the male. That's the male, and that's the female.
the male has a mustache. Bumblebee has a mustache.
The male's the guy with the beard. The females don't have a beard. But
The babies are tadpoles. The little tadpoles are the babies.
Yes, that's how Flecker acting.
Hi. You enjoy?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Let me ask you, when you try to breed a new species that you haven't bred before,
Yes?
I think you do a lot of research.
Oh, I always have. My like I kept talking about how my mind works different. I think things differently. I do. Like to me, everything about that is a puzzle. And like I get fascinated. I was at Dan Sharifi's place the other day, and we did all the stuff with fish for hours. And as we're walking out, he started talking about something about a palm tree. And the problem with palm trees, that these palm trees have to be injected with something. I was just as fascinated about that as I was about him talking about the fish. I just thought that was super cool. Tomorrow, I leave tomorrow morning early. I have an appointment at Florida Aquatic to do a video on one specific plant. One plant. And I've been to Florida Aquatic many times. And then right after that, I'm driving to some botanical garden that had spent almost 2.5 months tracing down one specific tree that lives in Florida to do video on.
Next. 2 JRC-04 angelfish, a breeding pair of angelfish. One's got a little bit of gold in there, breeding pair, gorgeous fish. Start me out at $5, $5 for the pair, 5 looking for 6, 5, 6, look 7, 10, 10 over here looking for 11, 10 looking for 11, 10 looking for 11, 10 once, 11 here, 12 there, look 13 here, 13 going once.
Yeah, we got my man back here.
You got a number? $14, 14 looking for 15, 15 here, looking for 16. 16 in the back, 17, looking for 18, 17. Once, twice, sold number 17. Next, we have
6 bluefin killies.
6 bluefin killies. 6 bluefin killies are about an inch long.
Donated by the speaker.
Donated by the speaker. 6 bluefin killies start me out at $4. 4 looking for 5. 16, 18, looking for 20, 20, $22, 22, looking for 24, 22, once, twice, sold to number 113 for $22.
We have a donation.
Donation, these are the inside the tank,
You see the babies? See them on the back.
inside the tank filter, there's 3 of them. So if you have a small tank, if you have turtles, or if you have a tank and you just want to cycle it and clear it out, these are great filters. There's 3 of them. You see 10 orange shrimp. 10 orange shrimp, they see number 1, they are more than a half inch. And they're all active. Start me out at $5, $5 for the shrimp. Oh, okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 and a half, 8 looking for 9, 8, once, twice, sold, number 29. Number 2, little fish. I got
Some of the goodies you guys can be picking up here every time you come to our meeting, every second Wednesday of the month. So come join us and follow us on Instagram and